Well, they released it. Hey everybody, what's going on? Welcome to an all-new Talkin Movies. As always, I'm your host, the real Gino Reynolds, and today it's finally happened. It's been released on HBO Max. Today we're going to be talking about Zack Snyder's Justice League, the 4-hour opus of the return of Zack Snyder to the DC universe. I warn you, I'm probably going to spoil a lot of this movie, because a lot of this movie is what was in the original cut. A lot of the humor that, of course, was added to Justice League, the theatrical cut, it's been cut out. That's like the big difference. And then they've added, stuff with Darkseid and everything. So, and there was a few other things, and I will talk about that stuff. And of course, there's some story elements changed and things like that. But if you don't want anything spoiled, I'm not gonna. For me, look, I know people are gonna be divided on this, like they're divided on every other superhero thing. Some are gonna say they thought it was a better movie. I fall into that camp. Now, I'm not gonna say it was the definitive Justice League movie that I would have wanted. But was it a better movie than the mangled mishmash crap that we got the first time? Yes, of course it is. Because it's a more complete version. Some people are going to say it doesn't matter what you do. It's not going to improve anything because I don't like this, or that. You're not going to change their minds. No one's mind's really going to be changed, I don't think, unless they were really fighting for the release of the Snyder Cut. Now, I really wanted to see the Snyder Cut because why not? I just wanted to see it happen. It's like, fine, give them a chance. Let's do it. Let's see it. But there's problems with that, and we will talk about that. But yeah, I fall in the camp of it is a better movie, sure. But that being said, say he would have completed his movie. They never would have allowed it to be 4 hours in a theater. 2.5 maybe. I don't think they would have given him 3. And you would have had to cut a lot of stuff out. That being said, one thing we'll talk about is this movie, in one way, could have been 3 hours long. And I'll bring that up. But yeah, I recommend checking it out. If you don't have HBO Max, I wouldn't say this is a time to snag HBO Max to see it. If you already have it, if you've already gotten HBO Max for the year, on that year deal, so you can see all the 2021 movies from Warner Brothers on there, it's worth it. It's worth checking out. It is split up into different chapters. I can't remember. I think it was 7 or 8 chapters. I think 6, 7, 8 chapters. So you can, find a place to stop if you just want to watch it episodically or something. But I say it's worth checking out. But I'm not saying it's the thing. All hail Zack Snyder, because this movie still has problems. But was it a better movie than the Junkyard Mess? Yeah, of course it is. So I recommend checking it out just to see what the vision was. But again, we'll talk about a problem with this. Things that I liked about the movie. Again, this comes into getting 4 hours to do your story. You've got time to develop your characters. We get to see a lot of motivation stuff with the Flash, and Cyborg especially gets to be a big part of this movie. You get just more, it's like what they took, however many years to build up in the MCU over how many movies. It's like, well, at least they're getting time to show these characters' motivations and then show why they joined the cause, and not just feel like they're rushing it through, wham bam, stop the bad guy at the end and we're done, and the Flash is racing Superman. There's more to it, but again, they got 4 hours to do it, so of course you're going to have time to develop these characters. Another good thing I liked about it, at least tonally and look wise, it matches Man of Steel and Batman v Superman. Because boy, did they feel like two different movies, or three different movies, with the Justice League being the odd one out when Whedon took over. So at least tonally they feel the same. You've got the motivations of the characters feeling the same. So at least everything tonally fits together. I like that all the stuff they shot for this, for Henry Cavill, they didn't have to cover up a mustache. I liked that. I liked not seeing the... I remember when I saw Justice League in theaters, and like that first shot of that movie is the kids on the phone, on the camera phone interviewing him, and you could tell his mouth looked weird, and it's like, why does that look weird? And then you find out, oh yeah, they're covering up his awesome Mission Impossible stash, which, by the way, made the right decision, didn't cut it off. So at least you get that. Plus, his character also gets, while the way they bring him back is still meh, at least it plays more into the story of what would have happened. Because I have this feeling, see, you get visions, the nightmare visions that have to do with Superman. And this would have at least played into the way it all fit together. I just have this feeling that when Whedon took over, Warner Brothers said, we're just going to end it here. Find any way you can to, cut off the future storylines, right? And then, of course, in that version, they stopped Steppenwolf, and we don't really... You do hear Darkseid's name or whatever, but you knew we weren't going to get more of the story. It just felt like it was over, right? It's like, oh, Superman's back, and he wouldn't dare come here. But this one, it at least plays in the story that Superman's going to have a big arc, and from what I understand, whatever the third movie was going to be would be like Superman's arc. Like it would be kind of like a finale for Man of Steel. So you got that, plus you got a lot of quote-unquote fan service with this one, with different characters and everything, whether it be we show that Lex Luthor's escaped, and of course then you get Deathstroke there. You get, and here comes some spoilers, you get Martian Manhunter a couple times in the movie. And bear with me that I didn't go back and watch the original Justice League because I'm not going to do that. I just can't do it to myself. So if there's some things that I don't remember seeing the first time, I couldn't remember if that was in this or if that was in, if the same thing was in the old theatrical cut versus this new cut. But yeah, you have Martian Manhunter. I know Zack Snyder wanted Green Lantern in there, like Jon Stewart. I kind of would have liked to have seen him, but they, I guess, put Martian Manhunter in his place. Fine. But that herein leads to the problem. Look, as an improvement, as much of an improvement as I felt this movie was, here's the problem. Warner Brothers already come out and said, we're not doing any more, which I think they're practically daring. I have this feeling, though, I'll get to that in a minute, but I'll say what they said. They said, no, we're not going to do any more. No, we're not going to do the Ayer cut. Hashtag release the Ayer cut. Suicide Squad. We're not going to hashtag finish the Snyderverse or continue the Snyderverse or whatever that hashtag is, right? They said they're not going to do it. So what you have here is a 4-hour movie that gets left wide open. You have Steppenwolf defeated. You have Darkseid saying, "Here I come." You have Martian Manhunter say, "I'm here to fight with you." I'm sure we would have gotten Green Lantern in the next one. Because, you do have a lantern in this movie that you see get killed in the flashback scene and the ring fly off and everything. So you have this wide open movie that they're saying you're never going to get to see the ending to. I have this feeling they are daring Twitter to hashtag, because they're like, save your hashtags. Yeah, well, they finally caved to the pressure of the Snyder Cut. And of course it's going to be successful. It's viral marketing. I have this feeling they're trying to see if the viral marketing's there, and of course it's there because people are gonna want to see it. I want to see it. At least this movie, unlike the original Justice League, and there's where it's an improvement. While I didn't think it was the greatest story, I at least would like, well, I'll watch another one. I do want to see what happens. I want to see where the story was going to go. And the way they're talking, it'd be 2 more movies. It'd be because what this movie teases is that by resurrecting Superman, and I'm going to talk about the nightmare scene that has been teased. The nightmare scene, Cyborg, while trying to activate the mother box, he sees visions like Batman has been seeing in his dreams, his premonitions. And if they resurrect Superman, it's going to bring the end of the world. And possibly the galaxy. So you have that story being set up, and I'm curious to see where it would have went. And that's a problem. If they don't ever release it, it's like, well, I guess we'll never know unless, who knows, maybe they're either daring people to get it virally, pushed again, which I really think is what's happening here. I think they'll be like, yeah, you won't support another one. You don't want to see another one. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. And I think that's what they're doing. But if they don't, I have this feeling maybe we'll get comic book versions of whatever was going to happen. But that's just a problem with this. Is like you have this big, long, epic movie, which again, if they do any more, they're never going to give him 4 hours again. As I have a feeling that parts of this movie were meant for part 2. Especially maybe some of the Nightmare stuff. And I know they filmed some new Nightmare stuff. And so you have this open movie, and I think that's a problem. It really puts it down, because there's nothing worse than a movie that teases a future, that, especially a movie you like, that teases a future, but they never make another one. Another problem I had was a problem I have with just about every Zack Snyder movie. The slow-mo. Look, I said this movie could have been 3 hours. It's the problem with every Zack Snyder movie. The overuse of slow-mo would have cut, I don't know how many minutes. Last movie, everything had slow motion. Of course, every time the use of, the slow-mo, there's really no just describing. You know what I'm talking about. Every time there's action, we have to slow it down and speed it up and slow it down. So you got that all going on, just like any other Zack Snyder movie. And it would have cut so much out of this, time-wise, if a lot of that wasn't there. I'm not saying the effects weren't good. I'm not saying the action wasn't good. But it's just, I just get tired of that slow-mo. It's like he's got to have it in every one of his movies. And I'm just tired of it. I want him to find a new toy to play with, I guess. Another was the writing. Again, there was things I liked, and there were just things I didn't. I liked the plot for the most part. Again, the way they bring back Superman and everything, I would have rather just been, he healed finally, but they had to figure something out. But I did like what they did with the mother boxes and Cyborg seeing the visions, and that's where a big problem I have with this one. The nightmare sequence. Boy, do they just save that to the end. And of course, it just ends up being Batman's dream. And that's before we get the final scene of the movie with Martian Manhunter. You could have put that scene with where Cyborg is seeing the visions from the mother box, and it would have fit in better than at the very end of the movie. I mean, you could have had a quick flash of the future or something of the nightmare scene at the end of the movie, and it would have worked better. But instead, the end of the movie, though I enjoyed the scene, except one thing, I'll mention it in a minute. There's one thing I hated. You could have put that where it was Cyborg with his visions. And it would have, I don't know, I think it would have fit better. Because you think about Cyborg, he can process information, like that. So it's not hard to imagine that, yes, the scene was longer, but this is Cyborg we're talking about. He's processing this mother box's information, within an instant, because, that's just how he is. I think it would have fit better. So anyway, the ending thing, the nightmare sequence. I liked the stuff with the Joker. I liked him and Batman's the stuff they said to each other. I liked what they revealed about Harley Quinn and Batman's motivations, and the Joker still just poking and prodding him. But it's like, but you need me. So I like that. What I hated was, when did Mara get an accent? She's there and she has the trident, the Aquaman's trident, and all of a sudden she's got some kind of accent now. I don't know. So yeah, it was weird. But then I thought the scene was a little too short, but then again, we're at the 4-hour mark of a movie. So, I'm sure they couldn't have done it too long. Plus, that was like one of the new scenes they filmed. So yeah, I liked the scene, but man, there was just things I didn't like it, like especially the accent of Mara. So yeah, all in all, this movie is fine. Again, if this would have been the original movie, again, it never would have been this long. But if this would have been the original vision, I would have been more interested in seeing a continuation. I would have wanted to see what happened with Darkseid and with the introduction of Martian Manhunter and possibly the next Green Lantern. And there's things I would have liked. I would have actually been invested in wanting to see another Justice League movie, unlike the first time after I sat through that Justice League movie and like, my God, what is that? It was neat to see. I remember when Man of Steel came out, they released toys, and there was a black suited Superman in those toys, and I knew they eventually would have gotten to the black suit. Here's the thing, though: they gave no reason for why he was wearing the black suit in this. I would have liked them to have said, like, I think in the comics it was to help him absorb the sun better so he could get his powers back faster, because he was still healing. But in this, he's fully powered, so there's, other than I just feel like wearing black and silver now, there's no really excuse for him to wear this new suit that I remember them saying. But yeah, all in all, it's a better movie. Is it a must-see? I don't know about must-see. I mean, again, there's going to be people out there that are going to defend this to the very end. That is the greatest vision ever of a DC Universe movie. Especially if they were big-time supporters of Release Snyder Cut, which, again, I was a supporter of, just because it's like, why not? Why not see it? I didn't think it was super amazing. I thought the 4:3 aspect ratio was weird. I think it had something to do with, it was supposed to be formatted for like IMAX or something. It was kind of distracting. It did feel like I was I was watching a movie, on TV in the 80s there at times. But yeah, it's worth watching. Is it amazing? I don't know about that. But I do think it was worth checking out if you've already got HBO Max. That's going to be all for this edition of Talkin Movies. If you like what you've heard here, please subscribe to the Real Gino YouTube channel. Like this video. If you have anything to say about Zack Snyder's Justice League, please feel free to leave a comment in the section below. Till next time, I am your host, the Real Gino Reynolds. See you later.